Hey yo guys, what's up and welcome back to Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today we're getting our final review of Purgatory from Despised Icon. So it's review time. We just spent the entire week listening to Purgatory as much as we possibly can to develop our opinions, to give you guys a review, and I'm gonna hand the floor to TV Fish to kick this off.
Alright guys, this album's fucking awesome. Straight up, throughout the entire week, I did not get bored of this album. I was loving it the entire time. Really, since our first impressions, it did not, fall off at all. Now, there's one track I want to talk about specifically, and that's Lightspeed. Because last week, we said, oh, I don't know about Lightspeed. You know, it's like a wall of noise. I don't know what's going on. Once you listen to it a little bit and you adapt to what that wall of sound sounds like, it feels so much better. It's a lot more rhythmic in that sense. And there's a few cool things they do. Right before the form ends and they go back to the beginning of the form, you can hear the bass like hitting the quarter notes, and it sounds amazing, but they don't do it the second time through. When they get back to that point, the bass doesn't play that, and I think that's really cool how unique that is. I kind of wish it was more just because I love how it sounded, but I don't mind. It makes the song on its own less predictable because of small changes like that. Now, the whole album is just full of amazing riffs. Honestly, I'll put on any song and then my face is scrunching up, I start headbanging, I'm like, fuck, this just gets right into your system so easily, and it's so nasty. The growls, screams, everything's just disgusting, and I love it.
Yeah, speaking of the riffs and the guitars I feel like were a little bit overshadowed by the bass and the drums and the vocals, but it wasn't really a bad thing. They kind of fit in how they were supposed to fit in. They fit in nicely. Pretty sure they use standard B or maybe drop B tuning on this, which is basically typical for Despised Icon. I was getting a lot of really old school death metal vibes with some of the riffs. Like if you listen to the riff on which song, Dead Weight, near the beginning of the song, I was really getting old school Cannibal Corpse vibes on there. Just very old school raw sounding. But then you flip and you go to a song like Moving On, and you got this like hammer-on pull-off riff during the intro and outro sections, which is just, I love that style. I love the hammer-on pull-off riffs. Those are great. Moving On is a phenomenal song, by the way. It was my favorite song in the first impressions. It's still my favorite song. That's the one, if you're not sure, it starts with like the orchestral kind of thing, and it just takes you on a bit of a journey.
It's a fantastic song.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in that song, and it's just overall just sick. But
Unbreakable is also a great track.
Unbreakable's good, Apex Predator's good, Dead Weight is really good as a closing track.
Legacy is great. Now, in regards to closing track, Dead Weight is good. Like, it fades out, it feels like a good closing track. Yeah. But one thing about this album that not many other albums have is that you can put this album on shuffle and it won't matter. Like, if you put it on shuffle, everything in a different order, it feels good regardless. The title, or not the title track, the first track, Dernier Souffle, that track is a great intro track. It works as a closing track as well. So I remember you were listening to it and you told me, hey, I just put this album on loop. And when it gets back to that track, it feels like the album ends.
Yep.
But it's actually the beginning, and and I tried that myself and it works perfectly. But even when I put the album on shuffle, that song would come on out of nowhere and it just fucking worked.
One thing I'll add to that, Dernier Souffle, I think fits very nicely as a last track. So if you put the album on loop, start on Purgatory, which is track number 2, and let it play through and pretend that Dernier Souffle is the last song. It's actually called Last Breath, that's what it translates to. So even the title of the track fits as a last track. But that's a beautiful piece of music right there. Oh, yeah. And it's not often where an intro track or an interlude track or something like that kind of catches me like this one did, but I did not skip this track once. I love every second of it. It's pretty short, which that's the only downfall really. I wish it was a little bit longer. But it's such a beautifully composed piece of music. You got acoustic guitar, you got some synth in there. The electric guitar fades in at the perfect time. You got the bass in there nice and thick and chunky, and all these instruments are just married together and gelled together in this beautiful composure. I freaking love it, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, it is an intro track, so you can't really expect it to be that long.
I know.
But man, like, it's rare for an intro track to be that good.
I just don't like it when it ends.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, you can keep going, please, a little longer, a little longer. but then you get that China, and then Purgatory starts.
Yeah, and it's
Right?
then you throw down from there forward.
Drums. So
Pretty
Alex is a phenomenal drummer. He's so stylistic. Okay, he likes to play with the bell on the ride, which is part of his style. He does it a lot, but he doesn't do it too much to the point where it's annoying or like, oh, why is he still doing this? It's like very tastefully done. He's super fast, but he's also got these sick like mid-tempo grooves that are just disgusting. He plays around on the toms. He loves the China. The guy's all over the place. Just very refined drummer, very entertaining to listen to, brings a lot of flavor to each song. Phenomenal.
He fits really well with like the music. Like he did a great job at adapting what the drums should sound like to what these songs give you.
Yeah.
I also want to say the lyrical content of this album is good. I find a lot of it is like kind of like the angst of, you know, having someone wrong you in whatever way.
Yeah, revenge kind of.
Either revenge or trying to just kind of better yourself after like, okay, this person's out of my life, I'm going to become stronger from this.
Fair.
I just found it really cool that Vidange is, like, we talked about this last week, the whole song is in French.
Yep.
Which is really cool. I don't think I read up on the translation of the lyrics, but it's still like, it's cool hearing growls and screams in French and you can kind of hear it and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's interesting.
Well, Vidange translates to Life of Angels. I'm not French, but I looked it up. So it translates to Life of Angels. So I don't know. I didn't really look at all the lyrics, but
One of my favorite lines in Snake in the Grass is in Snake in the Grass where it says, I'm pretty sure he says, "You let your true colors show on my birthday. Oh, what a wonderful gift. You're dead to me."
yeah.
I just love every time he screams, my birthday! Like, it's so funny. I love it. It sounds badass, but at the same time, it makes me laugh.
Speaking of that, there's two singers. There's Alex and Steve, and I don't know which one does which part. I think Alex is like the main vocalist who does like the HXC style of vocals, and I think Steve does the gutturals. But the guy that does the main vocals, he just pounds out every word and just fucking means it, and I love it. It's like almost like a Hatebreed style of singing.
Yeah.
But you got that, and then you got these gutturals, and you throw the pig squeals in, and there's a couple other variations of vocals in there. They harmonize sometimes, they trade off vocals. Very nice.
Yeah, they do a lot back and forth.
Yeah, a lot of back and forth, and it's just, it adds such great dynamics to the songs. And I mean, a lot of bands, you know, in deathcore genre, they'll have one vocalist doing both parts, and that's cool. But there's just something a little more special about having two vocalists.
Yeah, especially just how much they play off each other.
Yeah.
Another really cool moment is in the title track where I think it's Alex, the one who does the more kind of hardcore.
Yeah.
He says 1 step forward and 2 steps back, but he waits a little bit after the word steps.
Yeah.
So then when he says back, it just hits you even harder. It's such a small thing, and you pick that out like really soon, like when we were listening to the album, and it's just so badass.
I actually made a joke about that lyric. He says 1 step forward and 2 steps back, the fire burns beneath my face. I don't like the fact that that doesn't rhyme. He should say 1 step forward, 2 steps back, the fire burns beneath my crack. And it should be a song about eating too much spicy food and then regretting it the next day.
You should write for this band.
I should not write at all. Yeah, bad jokes are bad. Anyways, yeah, how about we read it?
Alright, well, it's pretty clear. Get my toe tag. Fucking awesome album. Like, straight up. What else am I supposed to say? I've been, you know, loving this album all week, and everything I've been saying in this review so far has been overwhelmingly positive, so straight up, it's a toe tag album.
Awesome. See, I started out this week and I loved this album a lot, and I thought, you know what, this is a toe tag album. But I was like, you know what, it's still too early to tell. I'm gonna go through the week and I'm gonna see if anything annoys me, if anything gets boring, or if anything stands out, I'm like, yeah, that kind of sucks now. And then I'll kind of deduct points as the week goes. That didn't happen. This album gets my toe tag. It is phenomenal. Didn't get bored. Every track just gets better and better the more you listen to it. I'm impressed with the vocals. I'm impressed with the drums. The guitaring is great. The bass presence on this album is special. Like, it is just next level special. This is a phenomenal album, guys. If you like deathcore, or if you even want to get into deathcore. One more thing I'll mention before we close this, actually. A lot of deathcore bands lately are going a very melodic route. These guys are keeping it real and keeping it to the roots. It's maybe not quite as grindy as some of their older albums, but it still has that grind factor, but it's a little more melodic, which I'm okay with, but it still sounds like the roots. which that's perfect for me. These guys are doing a great job and they nailed it.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, guys, that's it for this video. 2 toe tags for Purgatory. Let us know in the comments below if you guys agree with us or disagree, and let us know what you think of the album. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. I'm Vile Self.
I'm TV Fish.
We'll see you guys on the next video. Keep those horns up.